This presentation provides an overview of the proposed active transportation improvements and new facilities along Islington Avenue and Highway 7 in Vaughan. Prior to the presentation, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that the City of Vaughan is situated in the Territory and Treaty 13 lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, as well as the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat and the Haudenosaunee. As representatives of the City of Vaughan, which is home to many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work in this territory. The City of Vaughan, along with their consultant Macintosh Perry, is undertaking this infrastructure project to address connectivity gaps in Vaughan's existing active transportation network through the design of new facilities along Islington Avenue and Highway 7. These new facilities will support Vaughan's pedestrian and bicycle master plan goals of providing active transportation infrastructure that is suitable for all ages and abilities, supporting a well-integrated and well-connected network of cycling facilities, trails, and multi-use paths to make these options easier and safer for all road users. The goal of this presentation is to share our design and invite you to ask any questions you may have regarding the proposed improvements. During this video, we will cover the project background, the project scope and goals, existing conditions, design considerations, proposed improvements, project timelines, and contact information for any questions you would like to share with the project team. Vaughan is a large suburban community which was once an independent township before being amalgamated with the nearby communities of Woodbridge, Kleinburg, Maple, and Thornhill to form what is now the City of Vaughan in 1991. As a result of this amalgamation and the rapid growth of the city, there are a number of gaps in the active transportation network, including along Islington Avenue and Highway 7. As such, Vaughan's pedestrian and bicycle master plan has identified this area as a priority and outlines an approach to providing safer and more accessible walking and cycling facilities for people of all ages and abilities, connecting people directly to the places they want to go or to transit alternatives. Within the project area, Islington Avenue is a regional 2 to 4 lane minor urban arterial road. The project limits encompass a 4-lane segment from Killeran Avenue to Highway 7 and a 2-lane segment between Langstaff Road and Willis Road. Highway 7 is a regional 6-lane major urban arterial road from Islington Avenue to Bruce Street. Both areas currently lack dedicated active transportation infrastructure. Illustrated on the key map is an overview of the project limits within Vaughan. The limits on Islington Avenue are from Killeran Avenue to Highway 7, which is approximately 2.1 kilometers. Proposed improvements for this section include the addition of a multi-use path on the west side of the roadway. From Islington Avenue, the project limits continue east along Highway 7 for approximately 385 meters to Bruce Street, for which improvements include the addition of a cycle track on the south side of the roadway. The purpose of this project is to connect missing links within the existing cycling network on Islington Avenue and Highway 7. This will involve the design of retrofit options, which minimize impacts to the existing infrastructure while ensuring the proposed facilities provide the most efficient and safest solution considering site constraints. Improvements will enhance the safety of vulnerable road users, including pedestrians and cyclists, by implementing appropriate facilities that separate active transportation users and vehicular traffic. The preferred design option will reduce or mitigate impacts to private property and aims to limit impacts to existing mature trees along the corridor. Considering the goals of the project and aforementioned constraints, an in-boulevard multi-use path, which is a two-way separated path shared by pedestrians and cyclists, replacing existing sidewalk is the preferred option within the project limits on Islington Avenue, while a raised in-boulevard cycle track between curbs and sidewalks are the preferred option on Highway 7. This is an overview of the existing conditions in the area from the city's existing active transportation network map. As illustrated, there is currently a lack of dedicated active transportation facilities on Islington Avenue and Highway 7, which presents a clear gap in connectivity between the shared pathway north of Langstaff Road and bike lanes east of the project area on Highway 7. Following implementation of the proposed retrofit facilities, Missing links will be addressed as is illustrated by the dashed lines that show continuous active transportation facilities from Highway 7 north to Major Mackenzie Drive, the existing facilities, signed routes, and shared roadways. Islington Avenue is a regional 2 to 4 lane minor urban arterial road. Photos show the existing conditions within the project limits, including the 4-lane segment looking south from Killeran Avenue, the 2-lane segment with shared 2-way left turn lane looking south from Langstaff Road towards Willis Road, and the intersection of Islington Avenue and Highway 7. Existing conditions vary, with some sections consisting of an existing sidewalk, existing asphalt buffer, or a combination thereof, with no accommodation for cyclists. Proposed improvements within the corridor consist of replacing the existing sidewalk with a 2-way multi-use path, suitable for use by both pedestrians and cyclists. Continuing onto Highway 7, which is a regional 6-lane major urban arterial road. Photos show the existing conditions at the intersection with Islington Avenue, looking west, and further east towards Bruce Street. Existing conditions on the south side consist of a concrete sidewalk and wide grass boulevard, and an asphalt splash strip adjacent to the traveled lane, with no accommodation for cyclists. Proposed improvements within the corridor consist of the addition of a 1-way cycle track adjacent to the curb. Pedestrians will continue to use the existing concrete sidewalk. To elaborate on the proposed improvements along Islington Avenue, the intent is to provide a 2.4 to 3 meter wide multi-use path in place of the existing sidewalk on the west side of the roadway. A multi-use path is defined as a 2-way path that is horizontally and vertically separated from the traveled portion of the roadway by a curb and buffer and is shared by cyclists and pedestrians. Design considerations include maintaining adequate facility width such that the path can accommodate 2-way pedestrian and cyclist traffic with applicable buffer clearances from trees, poles, curb, and other constraints present along the corridor. All vehicular lanes on Islington Avenue will be maintained, with minor modification to the curb lane width at one location between Davidson Drive and Langstaff Road. Shown here in green is the proposed multi-use path alignment, starting at the intersection of Highway 7 north to Woodbridge Avenue. The path width varies from 2.2 to 3 meters and is behind the curb and separated by a colored concrete buffer where space permits, and includes line painting through intersections. Continuing north of Woodbridge Avenue, the proposed path will transition from asphalt to concrete in an effort to mitigate impacts to existing mature trees, as indicated by the color change to blue, and make use of the existing concrete in front of 2 commercial properties. Also shown here are proposed improvements and line painting at York Region Transit bus stops. The proposed asphalt multi-use path continues, with applicable line painting and signage treatments illustrated at driveways and intersections. North of Davidson Drive, a notable change is the localized lane narrowing shown in orange, which will permit adequate platform width for the proposed multi-use path and buffer behind the curb while minimizing impacts to trees. The localized curb realignment will narrow the existing curb and center left turn lanes from 3.7 to 3.5 meters wide. The proposed pathway and localized lane narrowing continues north from Davidson Drive and transitions back to existing just south of Langstaff Road. North of Langstaff Road, the proposed path makes use of the existing wide boulevard and follows the alignment of the existing sidewalk to Killeran Avenue, and terminates at the intersection, providing a direct connection to the existing side on-road facility on Killeran Avenue and existing sidewalk network. This cross-section shows the proposed addition of the buffered multi-use path on the west side of Islington Avenue along the 4-lane segment of the corridor. As noted, the proposed path width will vary between 2.4 to 3 meters wide and be located behind the curb and a colored concrete buffer where space permits. This cross-section shows the proposed addition of the buffered multi-use path on the west side of Islington Avenue, along the 2-lane segment of the corridor from Davidson Drive to Langstaff Road, within which a minor narrowing of the curb lane and center left turn lane from 3.7 to 3.5 meters wide is proposed. For the proposed improvements along Highway 7, the intent is to provide a 1.5 to 1.8 meter wide raised in-boulevard cycle track on the south side of the roadway. A cycle track is a physically separated bikeway that is horizontally and vertically separated from the traveled portion of the roadway by a curb and buffer. The proposed cycle tracks will be parallel to the existing sidewalk and will be designated exclusively for use by cyclists. Design considerations include maintaining adequate buffer clearances from trees, poles, curb, and other constraints present along the corridor. All vehicular lanes will be maintained, as will the existing pedestrian sidewalk. Shown here in green is the proposed cycle track alignment on the south side of Highway 7 from the intersection of Islington Avenue to the project limits, including proposed transition to the existing cycling facilities east of Bruce Street. The cycle track will be separated from the roadway by concrete curb and a colored concrete buffer, and offset from the existing sidewalk by the existing grass buffer until the approach to Bruce Street where they run parallel. This cross-section shows the proposed addition of the cycle track on the south side of Highway 7. As noted, the proposed cycle track width will vary between 1.5 to 1.8 meters wide and be located behind the curb and a colored concrete buffer where space permits. The cycle track will make use of existing space in the boulevard, and the existing sidewalk is to be maintained for pedestrians. There will be no impact to traveled lanes. A major design constraint for this project is to mitigate impacts associated with the addition of retrofit facilities on the existing mature trees within the corridor. A complete tree inventory and assessment was completed as part of background investigations for the project, and approximately 236 trees were reviewed. A significant effort has been made during design to limit impacts, and the vast majority will be maintained through tree protection efforts. Of the 19 trees scheduled for removal as part of this project, 10 are to be removed to accommodate the proposed improvements, while 9 are to be removed due to trees being in poor health. Compensation for the trees to be removed will comply with regional requirements and is anticipated to consist of compensation and/or planting of replacement trees to ensure no net loss of canopy. Individual property owners will be notified if any tree on their property is impacted. In terms of the overall project timeline, the project is currently in the detailed design stage, and construction is planned to commence summer of 2024 and is anticipated to be complete in 2025. Residents and stakeholders will be notified of project updates through various channels as more details become available and timelines for implementation are confirmed. If you have any questions, you are encouraged to contact the city's Infrastructure Delivery Department via phone at 905-832-2281, extension 8917, or email at infrastructure.delivery@vaughan.ca. When submitting any questions, please reference project number 2115-01. To meet the anticipated schedule for the project, we ask that any questions are submitted by December 5th, 2023. This concludes our presentation on proposed active transportation improvements to Islington Avenue and Highway 7. Thank you again for your interest in the project, and we look forward to receiving any questions you wish to share.